Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you learned something? Not for a deadline, not for a meeting, not because your boss asked, but because you wanted to. Because you were curious. Because something in you said, I want to know more about this. If you had to think about it for more than 5 seconds, this video is for you. Because here's what I'm seeing in my coaching practice, in my own life, and in the lives of the professionals I work with. We are all drowning in doing. We are executing, we're responding, we're delivering, showing up. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, we stopped learning. Not because we don't want to, but because the day ran out before we got there. Today, I want to talk about how to change all of that. How to carve out real sustainable time for learning. Learning that feeds your passion. Learning that prepares you for where your industry is headed. And learning that makes you feel like you again. Not just a worker, not just a parent, not just a professional, but a whole, growing, curious human being. And yes, we are going to talk about AI as well. Because if you are not paying attention to where your industry is going, AI is going to arrive at your door before you're ready. But I'm going to show you how to get ahead of it without burning yourself out in the process. Here's the truth that nobody says out loud. Most people are not too busy to learn. They are too exhausted to choose. There is a difference. Being busy is a schedule problem. Being exhausted is a nervous system problem. And when your nervous system is running on fumes after a full workday, after the commute and after dinner, after the kids, after the emails that come in at 9 p.m., your brain does not reach for a book or a course. It reaches for the path of least resistance. And I know you know what I mean. The scroll, the show, the sitcom, the couch. I am not judging that at all. As a licensed clinical social worker, I understand exactly what is happening in your body when that occurs. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning and learning and growth, goes offline when you are depleted. You literally cannot access your highest thinking when you are running on empty. And as a personal trainer, I know this pattern intimately. The people who say they don't have time to work out are usually the people who are most in need of the energy that working out creates for them. Learning works the same way. The less you do it, the less capacity you have for it. The more you do it, the more your brain craves it. So the first thing I want you to hear is this. The problem is not your schedule. The problem is your energy management. And once you solve that, the time appears. Pitfall number 1, waiting for a big block of time. The number one reason people don't learn consistently is that they're waiting for a big, uninterrupted block of time to appear. 2 hours on a Saturday, a slow week at work, a vacation, and here's the hard truth. That block is never coming, not consistently and not reliably. The professionals I work with who are the most committed learners are not the ones with the most free time. They are the ones who stopped waiting for it and started stealing small amounts of time instead. 15 minutes in the morning before the house wakes up, a podcast during your commute, an audiobook while you're doing dishes or folding laundry, a 10-minute article during your lunch break instead of scrolling. These are not compromises, these are strategies. And over the course of a week, they add up to 3, 4, 5 hours of real learning without touching your evenings or your weekends. Okay, pitfall number 2, learning without a direction. The second pitfall is learning without intention. This is the person who downloads 5 apps, buys 3 courses, subscribes to 4 newsletters, really eager, really motivated at the time, and finishes none of them because there's no anchor, no question driving the learning, no destination. Here's what I teach in my coaching practice. Before you consume anything at all, ask yourself 2 questions. First, what am I genuinely curious about? What am I genuinely curious about right now? Not what you think you should learn, not what other people are telling you should learn, not what your LinkedIn feed says is trending, what actually lights something up in you when you think about it. The second question, where is my industry going in the next 3 to 5 years? And what do I need to understand to be ready for it? Those 2 questions, passion and preparation, should be the compass for everything you consume. When your learning is anchored in something you care about and something that matters for your future, you will actually finish it. You will actually use it, and it will not feel like homework at all. Okay, pitfall number 5. Ignoring the AI shift until it's too late. Okay, I have to talk about this one directly because I am watching it happen in real time. AI is not coming, it is here. And the professionals who are going to thrive in the next 5 years are not the ones who know the most about AI. They're the ones who understand how AI intersects with their specific expertise and who started learning that intersection early enough to lead rather than to react to it. Here's what that looks like practically. If you are in healthcare, you need to understand how AI is changing diagnostics, documentation, patient communication, not to replace your clinical judgment, but to augment it. If you are in finance, you need to understand how AI is reshaping risk analysis, reporting, fraud, not to become a data scientist, but to be the human who interprets what the data means. If you are in leadership, you definitely need to understand how AI is changing the way teams work, how decisions get made, and what your people need from you that AI cannot provide. You do not need to become a technologist. You need to become fluent enough in the language of AI to hold your seat at the table. And that fluency starts with 15 minutes a day, just 15, pointed in the right direction. This is how I want you to think about building your learning practice. I use the EXPAND framework with my coaching clients every day, and I want to walk you through the pieces that apply directly to this topic. Solution 1, audit your hidden time. Before you add anything to your life, I want you to spend 1 week doing a time audit, not a formal spreadsheet, just a simple awareness practice. At the end of each day, ask yourself, where did my unstructured time actually go? Most people discover they have between 45 minutes and 2 hours of daily time that is currently going to passive consumption. You know what I mean. Scrolling on your phone, channel surfing, aimless browsing. That time is not wasted because you are lazy. It is wasted because there's no plan for it. The audit makes the invisible visible. And once you see it, you can redirect it. Solution 2, protect. Design your learning ritual. Once you know where your time is, protect a small piece of it daily for intentional learning. I recommend starting with just 15 minutes in the morning before the demands of the day begin. This is not a productivity hack. This is a nervous system practice. When you begin your day by feeding your own curiosity before you feed everyone else's and everyone else's needs and agendas, you show up differently. You are more present, more engaged, more yourself. Pick one format that works for you right now. A podcast, an audiobook, a newsletter you actually read, a course you're working through 10 minutes at a time. One format, one topic, one consistent time. That is it. Start there. Solution 3, align. Match your learning to your passion and your future. Use those 2 questions I gave you, passion, preparation, to build a simple learning menu for the next 90 days. That's right, I said 90. 2 or 3 topics maximum. One that is purely about something you love and want to go deeper on, and then one that is about where your industry is heading. And if you want to add AI literacy, make it specific to your field, not general AI content, but AI as it applies to your work, your clients, your decisions. Write it down. Put it somewhere you will see it. And when you sit down for your 15 minutes, you already know what you are going to open. Okay, solution 4, navigate. Use AI as a learning partner, not just a work tool. Here is one of my favorite reframes. If you are already using AI tools at work, start using them for your own learning too, at home. Ask ChatGPT or Claude, Manus, Perplexity to explain a concept in your field that you have always been fuzzy on. Ask it to summarize the key arguments in a book you don't have time to read in full. Ask it to give you a 5-question quiz on something you just learned to test your retention. AI is an extraordinary learning accelerator when you are in the driver's seat. The key is that you are driving it, not the other way around. You bring the curiosity, you bring the questions, you bring the judgment about what matters. AI brings the speed. Okay, solution 5, deploy. Teach what you learn. The fastest way to solidify learning is to share it. You do not have to start a YouTube channel, though here we are. But tell a colleague what you just learned. Share an insight in a team meeting. Write a LinkedIn post about something that shifted your thinking. Explain a concept to your kid at dinner. When you teach something, your brain encodes it differently. It moves from short-term recall to long-term understanding. And as a bonus, you start to become known as someone who is always growing, always thinking, bringing something new to the table. That reputation compounds over time in ways that single certification never will. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. You are not too busy to learn. You may just be too depleted to choose, and that is fixable. That's okay. Start with the audit. Find your 15 minutes, pick your 2 topics, and commit to showing up for your own growth the same way you show up for everyone else in your life. Because here's what I know from working with high-achieving professionals across business, clinical practice, and coaching. The people who thrive in the next 5 years are not going to be the ones who worked the hardest. They are going to be the ones who kept learning, who stayed curious, who looked up from the doing long enough to see where things were going and took one small step in that direction every single day, consistently. You have everything you need to be that person. You just need a plan, and that's what I'm here for. If you want to build a personalized learning plan that fits your actual life, your schedule, your career goals, your passion areas, that is exactly the kind of work we do in a discovery call. The link to book is in the description below. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What is the one topic you have been wanting to learn more about but keep putting off? Drop it below. Let's hold each other accountable. And if this video was helpful, share it with someone in your life who you know is running on empty but still wants to grow. They need to hear this today. If you want additional reading on this topic, click the like and subscribe button below. I'll see you in the next video.